Well, it's a good start. With the, first off, big shout out to the Aces. That was awesome. We're in season right now, unfortunately, not getting a chance to see it, but we're in the same city. We share the same streets, and it's fantastic, man. What an awesome deal to see Coach Hammond and Mark Davis and Nicky Vargas and then put that together, man. That's awesome. And it means a big deal to the city. It means a big deal to what we're doing. The reason we got so much of belief in this city too. So it's pretty cool. And then Aiden and Doug obviously being named Play of the Week in two different areas was cool too. So big shout out to those guys. Those guys couldn't do without the rest of the group. But real quick, going back to Saturday versus North Texas was good to see our guys come out and rebound from week 2. Return from Cal on the road with a little bit of a gut punch there to see our guys come back and rally in front of our home fans and to play a good football team that's been together a long time and to really play that way. Like I said after the game, the style of play to see guys take care of the football, to start fast, to tackle well, do good on third down, 0 penalties on defense, got a few we can take back on offense, ran the ball really physical, finished the game, explosive plays, and had a knockout punch. And I think there's a lot of things that we coached throughout the week and we're continuing to coach throughout the season that the guys are really, really embodying. And I think that game is a real good catalyst heading in down to conference play. And we got to go up to Logan and play the defending champs that had a bye week. So we got our hands full. I got a lot of respect for Blake and what he does and how he coaches in that unit. And so we got our hands full for our first conference game. Excited about it.
Coach, second half adjustments against Cal and last week against North Texas. You guys seem to, it's something that triggers the team, it seems like, because you're giving up 7 points in 2 games.
Yeah, doing a good job with adjustments. I think there's a couple things there. Number one, I think the coaches are doing a nice job communicating effectively throughout the course of the game. I think it's one of those things that a lot of people, unless you're on a headset, you're communicating things to each other that's different than the practice field when you're standing next to each other. You got eyes in the sky and then eyes in the ground that have to draw what the eyes in the sky see. You got to bring it down to halftime, and you got to get players adjusted and probably a little in as long as about 6 to 7 minutes. You got to make adjustments and get things dialed up, let alone in game on a phone. Trying to get things done. So they've done a nice job as a staff. We've done a nice job communicating well. I think the other part, too, is the players are more mature in the system. I think we mentioned that before. When guys know kind of how the system adjusts, the continuity, the experience, there's no substitution for it. Guys can understand what we're trying to get done faster than in a first regular season, and the guys looking at you like that, you've never had to do that together. Flipping protections, changing runs, knowing what pressures are coming, knowing what they're doing offensively and what runs and how they're hitting, what RPOs are coming, how you can make changes to the field, soft press, off press, catch, take, little things like that, situational football as well. So it's really good to see those adjustments being made, and that's game football. We're going to have to continue to do that.
Coach, did you do anything with Aiden as far as his patience is concerned? I know that there was zone blocking up front, and it appeared as though he had more space to run and maybe to explore where he wanted to go, which hole. Have you worked on his patience, being a more patient runner?
Yeah, we do it with all those guys, and Aiden's in the system for the first time. He's not that he hasn't played football before, but he's still youthful in learning certain schemes. Something as simple as one run out of gun may be different than the run out of pistol. There's some nuances there that I think are a little higher level that we're definitely coaching, because when you get the ball out of far back or you get the ball out of the dot, there's different angles and different footwork that needs to be taken, let alone the fact that the defense is maybe shaped different too. So there's little things like that, depending on which level, how far you go with it. But patience with him and the ability to know where it's going to cut is another thing. I think the pre-snap reads and what's going on are beginning to really click for him and seeing what's going on in the run scheme, and that helps.
How much does Doug's ability to use his legs kind of open up everything from the running game? Not even just the aspect of him making plays with his legs, but it kind of opens things up for Aiden and the rest of the running game.
That's a great question. So that's a big piece of it, because Doug can be effective and beat your feet and beat you with his feet on the backside of a run, which changed the backside of a defense is one example. I'd use. I think that the ability for him also to throw on the run and get out of the pocket and break contain and not only be a threat to throw but a threat to run is another piece. So it's a big point of the offense. Doug's feet are again, the ability to extend plays and add and go get up some yards. If now seen, 100 yards rushing. in that game just by taking off and doing the right things. It's something we're emphasizing. There's a lot of drop 8 in college football now too, where there's extra guys in windows where he's got to be able to understand that he's got to create, or on man coverage, who's got him in man and how we can take some advantage of that. So he just did a nice job, and he's still growing with that. I think that's a learned trait too. I think the one thing he's learning too is it's a little bit different than high school. Everyone's big and fast and strong, and you got to learn to take care of yourself. That's one of the biggest coaching points we've got and we've had forever. Is these guys got to understand everybody's fast now, and you got to take care of yourself and learn how to get down. And we're practicing a lot of things there that a lot of people may think we're not practicing, but they're funny nuances.
What stood out to you about the O-line's play? Obviously creating those lanes for Aiden, but also protecting Doug too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I alluded to. The congratulations for those guys for Player of the Week is big time. That's a big time deal. Two times in 3 weeks I think is a game, but it's 11 guys. There's the pass isn't complete without the line blocking. The run isn't effective unless the line is blocking. They're doing a heck of a job. Those guys are starting to really communicate well, and they're starting to get their gel, started getting a rhythm. You can see that. They were getting excited. They felt like they knew what they want to do. I can always feel as a play caller when they're coming off and they're asking for plays, and they know what's going on. That's a good feeling, when they communicate what's going on. Yeah, we saw it. We know what's going on. Hey, recall this, call that. Now there's a little bit, hold on a minute, but they're doing a really nice job.
Coach, I'm curious about what the morale and the mood is like, especially after some rough years, to see the tangible wins now. Not just the mood, but sort of how do you sort of keep it at bay now that they've had success resulting in these wins?
Yeah, staying humble is, I think, an important piece of the learning progression. I think that we've been humbled here for a while. At least in my tenure here, there's a lot of things that we've had to battle. A lot of it out of control. 18 months out of control. So I think the mindset and the ability to be humble and gritty and hungry for these opportunities is starting to take shape. We make sure we're grounded in a lot of things we do. We're never too high in the high, never too low in the lows. And I think the educational piece of what wins football games helps you ground that a little bit. You're not wowed when in fact you do everything right and it starts to play out. But again, these guys are excited for the right reasons, and I'm fired up about that. They're excited for playing good football and being together and doing a lot of things that lead to good football. And I think they'll stay grounded. I think they're hungry. I think there's a lot of things in front of us that won't allow us to get too far over our skis, including this next game in the conference play and one that got away from us last year.
How much did that performance defensively against Cal kind of prepare you this week against a team that's obviously going to be very angry after how the first few weeks have gone for them?
In Weber, you're alluding to?
Yeah.
I don't know. We try not to play that string too much in regards to, hey, they're thinking this. It's more about, hey, this is what we have to do. It's been that way. It'll stay that way. I think if there's anything to go from that Cal game, it's the adjustments they made, the physicality they played with. They got the ball away. They stopped a run versus a Power 5 team with a good running back, and a team's been together. And I think that's just confidence building. I think there's some things in there that we got to get corrected still, even from last week. And a North Texas team who really wanted to pound the ball, ran the ball really well, got 2 really, really good backs. That's their MO. And the defense did a good job adjusting to them too. I think it's just more confidence building. I think the teams that you play that want to do certain things and you have the ability to man up and go after them is good to see.
Coach, speaking of cleaning things up, Doug the last couple of weeks has started to slide before the first down marker. Is that something you've had a discussion with, maybe about being aware of where the first down marker is and start to slide there?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a new rule. That rule changed last year. It's not where the slide hits now it's where he starts to bend his knees to go slide to protect him. They changed that last year with the Pitt quarterback in that game. Which is an acceptable rule. I mean, it's something we do, but it's a new it's coaching. It's like he's played some football before and got down and slid. Well, now we got to know situationally when to go when to Pete Rose and when to slide. And so. It is trying. We practice it. I mean, some of you guys in practice on some of these, you see us out there with the pad. We're practicing sliding. We've done it at other places I was at. I had to do it at Oregon with Justin at times, learning how to get down and protect yourself. Now it was different then because it wasn't where you start the slide, so it's a little bit different. Now you got to know situational football. You saw him do it 2 different ways in last week's game. One on a third down, he's got to go. It hurt us in the week before. We talked about it. We coached it. It's just you got to get more and more reps at it and understand it. He got another one where we dove out there and got it. Another one where he ran past first down and slid. So it was like there's a new teach tape there on how to slide and how to get down. And I think it's just part of the game now at that position. So.
Coach, starting Mountain West Conference play, can you talk about if there will be any differences in the way you and your coaching staff work your team throughout practice this week?
No, we don't. We're not going to change the way we do things. We haven't changed that since we've been here. We believe in kind of how we go to work. There's not a lights. There's no switch to hit. Like I said after the game, there's no pill to take. It ain't going to just be the way we practice is hard and fast and physical and demanding, and we try to get it as game-like as we can. We believe that practice performance equals game reality, and I think that the speed in which we play in practice will be indicative of how we play on a Saturday. So these guys know it's not about who or where. It's about what we practice and how we do it.
Can you talk about, now 3 games in the season, you talk about the impact Jere Williams has been having on the field. He had the interception against Cal and had some big tackles this week.
Some big plays this week. Yeah, again, Jere's a catalyst to not only our defense but our team. I mean, he's got a personality that gets you going. There's nothing shy about him. There's nothing slow. It's all fast. He communicates really well. He's got a ton of passion and intent in what he does. You can't help but follow him. You can't help but want to be around him when he's doing it. He does a really nice job helping, and I think you're seeing, some of the traits that are coming out in the field are just the work and preparation he's put into it. The first play coming out of the second half and that pressure and getting the quarterback was fantastic timing and a great tackle too.
What's the mood through the offense after they run that kick back? And obviously you guys go on a long drive, get on the board first, and they come right back and return that kick. I guess what was the mood going back onto that drive? And trying
No flinch. Didn't flinch one bit. They say it now too, not just the back of our shirts. They say it. We got there's a lot of things that happen in the course of a practice or a game where something doesn't go our way, and you can hear guys saying, that ain't nothing. It's one play. We got a lot of game left. No flinch. Good. We like the chaos. You hear guys say good. We like the itchy stuff that's kind of crappy sometimes. And it's kind of a mindset, man. It keeps them uncomfortable.
Coach, you're referencing personality a minute ago. Aiden Robbins feels like a guy that has one of your best players, is a little bit more outspoken and kind of has that and brings that to a room. What does that do to sort of see him have success and then also have that vocal leader aspect?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that, Aiden's got a fantastic personality, very humble, very sharp, very confident, and it goes with his game. I think, moreover, the thing that's probably that I'm proudest of is I think that the team allows him to be himself. He's allowing himself the opportunity to be himself. He's a happy kid. He's an excitable kid. He loves football. He's passionate. I think anywhere you can create and invite an environment that allows you to be who you are, I think you can flourish. I think if you suffocate that or you minimize that, you run the risk of not really maximizing guys' potential, and I think their personality is a big piece of it.
Coach, seeing the fans in the city rally behind the Aces shows there's something special. Does your team feel that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we feel that. We feel that at Legion. We felt that as things have started to pick up. We felt that last year when guys were fighting and our back was against the wall, and those didn't turn out the way we wanted to. But there was a lot of true believers that were still there. We're still making believers out of some, which is fine. That's kind of what we want. We're okay with that. But to see, when we first got, we talked about the Knights a lot because that was the one that I used that I studied. Trying to study up on kind of how the culture was and things like that. I was a kid when it was the Run Rebs and Shark and that movement, but that was not to say I had an educational background on kind of the culture of sports or how a town can do back then. But now to see how it's transcended and how it's turned into a pro city and a pro town, and in my opinion, the best sports city in the country. This is awesome, man. I think it's just adds more fuel to the fire. Our guys love it.
What did you do well on that punt? Because those were some deep backups who were on special teams who actually made the play.
On which one? I'm sorry.
The punt block.
The punt block, yes. Briggs' punt block. That was just they've done a good job game planning. We've really it's been a big piece of from last year to try to make sure that we kind of close that gap on where we can add that third piece of playing complementary football in all three phases. And the special teams kicking, we knew Groot can kick. Now we got to create some explosive plays, minimize explosive plays, and find some places where we can create a play. Block 2 kicks in 2 games. Obviously, we don't want the return. That's a complete critical error on one of our guys' spots. But we can get that fixed and reattack. But for the most part, they've done a good job scheming, and they've done a good job in practice of being detailed and being intentful because those plays are game changing. Switching the field over. I think our starting field positions changed from last year and our strength profile like over 40% in just the first 3 games as far as changing field position and moving the ball and understand how the kicking game is so important. That block kick was awesome. I mean, it was, now we want to fall on it and make it 7, instead of muff it around out of the end zone. So I guess I'm coaching on fumble recovery today.
Everywhere you've gone, your backs have been 1,000-yard backs. Can you talk about this? What is it about your offense and what you do to have your backs have that much success?
Well, number 1 is recruit. I mean, recruit good players. I mean, it's no secret. We're recruiting our tail off. You're seeing guys now where you're seeing the recruiting starting to pay off right away. You're seeing guys make plays that are not in the system for 3 or 4 years. They're here, and then you're seeing what's coming in the pipeline. Aiden's a good recruit, but then I think schematically, I was lucky to be around some guys who instilled a good running game profile and how to teach it and how it fits the system. It's complementary to the play action. It's complementary to the pass game. We run from the dot in the middle. It balances defense back up a little bit. We use from gun runs to be able to, when the quarterback's now a threat, to kind of balance out the other side. And then Coach Woods and Holtz, and we sit in there and we try to get the best scheme we can based on fronts, coverages, pressures, and keep it simple for our guys to play fast. We use tight ends. I mean, there's a lot of spread football today that doesn't use the tight ends and maximize their potential. We've always had a tight end. I think I don't know the last time in 20 years now I've been coaching that I haven't had a tight end on the field, that's been part of the run game as far as the holistic approach. Just 'cause I think there's a value there when you add gaps and use that. And then the variations, really, inside, outside, pin, pull, different variations that are kind of that fit the system. I think it lends to good backs. I think good backs also want to play in it too. They see that that's a Sunday deal too.
Coach, I don't know if you heard Asia Wilson in the aftermath of the title yesterday, but how she's been inviting everybody out to the party in the celebration, including you all.
Yeah.
Curious if you had a rebuttal response. You'll be in attendance any of that.
Yeah, it was like tomorrow. It's 5:30 or something, right? Yeah, we're in meetings. If I could, I don't know. I got to get creative there. And like I said, being in season sucks for those certain things because you really want to be out there. I want to be part of that. I want to be in the parade. I'm in. I love that, man. That's such a cool deal. I mean, you remember all the big wins when you were kids and growing up in Northern California with Bay Area and championships they had in baseball and football, man. Any parade we had for those things, you were a kid, you were fired up. It was awesome. So, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to get out there after and cancel meetings. I don't know if that's a smart deal. I'll have to tell Asia that we can plan another party maybe. I don't know.
First kind of thoughts on Utah State going in the game, and what were kind of some of those things maybe if you remember back to the game last year that you kind of learned that might help you guys kind of finish it out this year? It's a tight game. Yeah,
no, I mean, first off is just the respect they got for what they did and what they've done and and their culture and what they've built so fast. They've done a nice job there. It'll be a good environment. Number one, they're defending champions. That doesn't go away. We talk about that a lot. I mean, when there's guys in the locker room who know what winning looks like, it makes it a lot easier as you move forward because they've seen those pictures before. They've seen what it's like. They've seen the discipline. They see the kind of articulation, the intent that you have to get it done. So that helps. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but I mean it helps. They've seen it, and so this team will be ready. He'll have them ready. They've had a bye week. They know how to win. They'll feel confident. They beat us last year, and they play hard. They play hard. They're coached hard. Their defense flies around. They're tough to identify. They'll do a real nice job. We got our hands full on the road. We got to go up there and handle our business.
What did you see on the pick six at the end? I guess there's 2 parts there. One, I think it was Dixon who got his hand up and tipped it, and then for Cam Oliver, who's kind of fighting to really hold on to that job and overcome some struggles. Like, what does that do for him confidence-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for the defense. First off, overall, to get a pick six. I think it's the first one in a long time for a defensive touchdown. And so to see Jalen and to see that late in the game, to see the effort to get in there. I mean, that game's nothing tells Jalen has to go in and try to make a play there. I mean, there's a lot of people would just go through the motions maybe, let alone Cam be that reactive and ready to go. But it's a good confidence build. I think it says a lot about those guys willing to play all the way to the end and finish. It's a big stress point for us right now is a knockout punch. And that's a good knockout blow there at the end of the game that I think, we've talked about a lot. Try to get Forrest to talk about a little bit too, which was insightful.
To clean up one thing too, Ajike gets called for targeting.
Yeah.
What did you see on that play? Because they got it right. What did you see on the play? And then in terms of the rule, Is he out and then he misses the first half of the next game? So, I mean, did you escape something there? Because I know they tweaked the rules with targeting.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, as we look back on it, it was a bang, and they got it right, just like they got the other one right with, I think, Kyle. And I appreciate the fact they're taking some time to really look at those, because those are big calls. That was a big piece of the offseason with the head coaching meetings nationally, was making sure we get those right, because it's such a big call to kick guys out of games for this game and the next game. And so I was just happy to see that the rule was ruled right. And then obviously, if that would have happened, yeah, that's a hard deal for anybody to lose one of your captains or your Linebacker or anybody for that right now is costly. I'm glad it didn't work out that way though. But.
Do you remember playing in Logan yourself? Did you play there at all?
No, because I think that time, no, there may have been still Big Sky. I think it was. I'm old, Mark.
Not bad.
I don't know. We've played up there. Some other stops we've had. It'll be a great environment. They've done a nice job with that stadium. They'll be rocking. It'll be good. I'm excited for us to get on the road again and get our guys tuned in.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Hey Kyle, can you talk about the wide receivers and now, like, I think a more physical nature that you guys have, and especially we saw that one play earlier this season where your offensive line and everyone pushed you like 5 yards or so into the end zone. But I guess, Aiden doesn't go for a big rushing day without you guys and your blocks on the perimeter as well. But can you talk about how you've taken your game up to another level, more physical in nature?
Yeah, we try to definitely make that emphasize every day in practice is blocking, because if we block and we get the running game going, we know that's going to get us open later in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has to do that 1/11. You know what I'm saying? So the whole offense starts to click on all cylinders. So we definitely made sure that we just don't catch that, we block, so we don't seem selfish on the side of the field.
Johnathan, I guess the way you guys played defensively in Cal, I guess, how does that prepare you guys for what should be another tough road game on Saturday?
Versus Cal, we came out, we tried to play physical the whole game, but it didn't work out as far as the score. But second half, we only kept them to 3 points, so that just shows us that we are a tough defense, and we want to keep that going forward.
Johnathan, back here, there's a lot of talk about your guys' offense, but the defense has been visibly just improved. You guys played physical, you played violent. How excited are you to hit a conference opponent on Saturday?
Our coach, he was just talking to us yesterday. He was telling us not that the first few games didn't matter, but now that we're in conference play, everything matters now. So we got to be on all 10 from here on night so that we can set ourselves up in conference.
John, you talked about Sean Taylor being your favorite player growing up. That's who you patterned the game after. And you loved his physical play. And that's something you brought to the defense. Is that something that you want to impart game in and game out and continue to try to build on?
Yes, sir. Like Kyle said, every day in practice, we just focus on being physical and being physical at the point of attack every game. So basically the way we play at practice is going to show on the game day. So that's just how we try to, we try to, at practice, we just try to, basically, however you play at practice is going to, like I said, show on game day.
It's a question for both of you guys. After a rough couple of years, win total-wise, to have some success, what is sort of just the mood and morale now that the wins are starting to show and some good outings just that you guys have seen?
All throughout the facility, it's just more excitement. A lot of people more bought in. It's just that good feeling, when you walk off the field with a W, rather than these past 2 years I've been here, having back-to-back losses, that's not a good feeling. And then so everybody's getting used to that feeling, so it's we want more of that, we don't want to take it for granted. We don't want to take advantage of it. We know that we got what it takes to keep winning, so that's what we want. We're going to bring more wins to the organization, to the program, you know what I'm saying, more wins to each other. Yeah, and ever since spring, I feel like as a whole, not just the defense, but we have all been all in. We all in, trying to change the narrative of UNLV football.
Kyle, you mentioned buying in, and I know you guys brought that up a lot on Saturday. I know Doug had mentioned that as well. What culture is Marcus kind of setting here that you guys are buying into?
Basically, the culture is just, we had this thing that we say EDCT, effort, discipline, commitment, and toughness, and we try to bring that every day to practice, workouts, meetings, just like find a way to have EDCT. So that's what we pride ourselves on, and that's the culture that we're building ourselves on to this day.
Kyle, how much fun is it for you? You've been here, 2 years. You got to go through the pandemic year, then last year, and now you guys have some early on success. How is it? I know, like after the first game, some of the guys were excited, some of the guys told to pipe down and lock in. We're just getting started as expected. Is that kind of the attitude you have going forward?
I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Like every day, I'm waking up with a smile. Like knowing what we got is special. But yeah, like I try to keep a neutral state of mind, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, what we doing is expected. We work for it, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, like, luck. This is not luck, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really put the work in for this. So, like, these wins that we're getting is expected, probably not from the outside looking in, from the inside looking out. We already know what we could do. So, yeah.
Hey, Johnathan, can you talk about the 3 fourth-down stops and kind of, like, what went on in each one of those?
Oh, yeah. As a defense, whenever times get hard, I feel like we all stand up in them kind of moments. And, like, in big moments, I just feel like as a defense, like, we all just, you feel me, strap our pads, and we just know, like, we need this stop. So in those situations, we all come together as one and get the job done.
Motivate you?
Yes, sir, most definitely.
A couple of years ago, the Aces were in a different boat, and now to see them bring home a title, and you guys are talking about buy-in just over the course of the years, do you sort of look at that and now the way that the city is with sports and get excited about the prospect of maybe what is to come for you guys with seeing the success that they've had?
Oh, most definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing them bringing that title knows, like, this city has, like, a lot of potential when it comes to sports, you know what I'm saying? Everybody overlooks Vegas as, like, oh, it's not really that much of a sports city or anything, but we have everything that every other sports state has. So, like, that really brings motivation to us, knowing that we could bring it in, and then we know that, like, other sports can bring it in, like the Kings and all that stuff. I think Las Vegas Knights, whatever they are, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it's just motivation to us. Let us bring in another trophy for the city.
Kyle, can you talk about just how much more dynamic, the offense is when Aiden's having a big game and breaking off those big runs?
It's definitely dynamic, because then it's like you don't know what to stop. We're running the ball, we're throwing the ball, so it's like we have multiple weapons, and then even Doug's feet can also change the game for us. So the fact that we have all 3 weapons is like a defense doesn't know which one. Like, you could shut one down, and we have other 2 available. So it's like you could pick and choose your poison, but it ain't gonna benefit you at the end of the day.
Johnathan, we've seen Joy Williams make a impact on the field these first couple of games. Can you just talk about the impact he has and what he's brought out there on the field?
Oh, yeah, Jure, he brings that energy every day. He brings that energy every day. That's one thing that I can't say about him. And I said this earlier, but he makes sure that the whole defense is going. So when he's on 10, he makes sure everybody else on 10. He try to bring everybody along with him.
Steve, good?
All good.
Thanks, guys.